start today's conversation by sharing a learning which is coming from the longest study ever, 85 years and counting, done by Harvard Medical School. And the finding is that emotional health and relationship have a profound effect on not just our physical health and longevity, but also on our financial success. And guess what? The seeds are sown by our parents and caregivers. And here we have with us two amazing people, beautiful souls who are currently parenting their charming 3-year-old son, Sufi. So I'm looking forward to this conversation to bring out their views and their wisdom of parenting and bring it up to you. So, are we ready?
Yes.
Okay.
Quickly wanted to say good afternoon. Thank you for making it after lunch. I know it's the hardest session to make it to. If I was you, I'd probably still be eating dessert. But I really value each of you in this room. Thank you for making time.
Absolutely, yeah. Thank you for being here, Nakul and Janki, and I'm so excited to talk to you. So let's start with a few rapid-fire questions to get us all warmed up, and you will have an insight into their personal life right now. So whoever one wants to answer, but let's keep it to one word or one phrase. Okay? Describe parenting in one word.
Spiritual awakening of oneself.
I think it's personal growth.
Beautiful. Both are so correct. Okay. So your go-to parenting quote or philosophy.
I think parent the child that you have and not the child that you wish you had.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Beautiful.
You know, everything Janki spouts about parenting, I usually make that my quote because she really is my role model in parenting. So, yeah, but I think like a very famous quote which I remember from one of the poems, I think it's Rudyard Kipling. It's, they come from you, but they're not yours.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not paraphrasing it right, but something to that effect. And I think that really...
They come through you, but they don't come to you.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. And believing that and understanding that, that's just such a great start. Okay, so one parenting stereotype you are...
Stereotype, okay. I think we, together as a couple, are breaking the stereotype that mothers have to be the primary caregivers. And I think we do that by really sharing the load and dividing our responsibilities.
This is not sponsored by Ariel at all. Actually sharing the load, not for the ad.
That's so required because in today's day and age, now there are no differentiation in roles between couples. We both do everything.
Absolutely.
So parenting also. Okay. So one parenting book you like the most?
Do you want to go for this?
No, why don't you go for it?
I cannot recommend this book enough. It's called The Conscious Parent by Shefali Sabari. And she really talks about, you know, how you need to become more aware and evaluate your own conditioning and biases and your unresolved issues from childhood to really parent from a state of presence and authenticity. So it's just a beautiful book. I'm still reading it and I highly recommend it.
Right, and every time I listen to Shefali, you know, she gives a different perspective which I may not have considered ever in my life.
Absolutely, parenting is just, like, I think it's not about raising your child, but it's about raising yourself. And your child is actually like your spiritual mentor and guru. And that's what she talks about, and I so resonate with that.
Absolutely. So, would you like to share one characteristic of Sufi that is different from you?
Oh, too many. He's his own person. I think he's very present. And I find that hard as an adult to be fully present where I am at. It takes a lot of effort, and I'm trying to do it right now. But I sort of try to imbibe it from him every day.
So it is said that with your first child, you also grow. The child grows with you and you grow with your child. And that's what you are sharing right now.
Absolutely.
If you're open to growth, you will grow with your child. Okay. So one thing that Sufi imitates about you?
Many things, but I think he imitates the way I sit with his legs up. But yeah, many, many small, small things. Nakul?
So I play a lot of sport with him, and he has the same admiration for King Kohli as I do. You know, when he hits a good shot, I go, "What a shot!" And now he started saying, "What a shot!" So I think they pick up so many things which you subconsciously, consciously put out, you know, in the universe. So lots of things, yeah.
So does it happen that you suddenly notice he's imitating something and you realize, oh my God, I didn't realize I was doing this.
Every
and
day.
Every single day, every single moment.
Right, and that makes you so aware of what you do. Okay. One thing you learned from Sufi.
I think what Nakul said, just being completely present in the moment without really thinking about worrying about your past or like thinking about the future, and just embracing the present moment with openness and with enthusiasm.
And curiosity.
And
Just
curiosity.
insane curiosity.
But don't you think we were the same when we were a
Absolutely.
child?
Yeah, we were, but I think somewhere as you grow up, it gets lost. You lose your curiosity, your enthusiasm to find joy and happiness in the little things in life. So, yeah.
So with your child, you're actually getting a chance to experience your childhood all over again.
You know, I think as we grow old, there's so much conditioning that we start to behave in a certain way, okay, because, you know, we're guests, we're going to be sitting like this, and because this is an audience come, you know, they will behave in a certain way. If there was Sufi or any other child here, probably run around. If he felt lazy or like felt like yawning, he would yawn and not make an effort to show that he's not sleepy. I feel that all of us in some way, you know, have trained ourselves to be more like likable and present. And it's beautiful when I see him that I want to be like him. So if I feel like right now I really feel some coffee, I'm feeling...
It's coming.
Yeah, so I'm going to take the liberty because it was Sufi, he wanted something, he would ask for it. So anyone here who can get me some coffee, black coffee, would be lovely. Anyone else wants on here? Would like some coffee? 2 coffees, please, 2 more black coffees. We'll have it sent. Awesome.
Okay, so when you mentioned this, you know, that you can be your own self, you can be your authentic self, is it not important as adults to accept people when they are being their authentic self? We don't do it. That is why we become so conscious about
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, I think, I mean, one thing which Janki and I very often discuss in the last 3 years since he's come into our life is every day try to be less judgmental than we were. Every day let go of biases. And I think it's only when you become a parent, you also realize the amount of hardships or the crazy days another parent may have, and not to judge them basis of how they are with their child, right? Because I don't know their life. And I feel this kind of percolates in every area of my life. I feel like a different professional. I feel like a, you know, different, in every other role I play in my life, brother, son, friend, I feel there is a little bit more lesser judgment than I probably had. And that's a journey we're on.
Yeah, that's a journey we all need to be on forever. Okay, so let's get to some serious questions. Parenting can be very demanding and extremely overwhelming at times, and there are emergencies cropping up out of nowhere. And you have your career. How do you balance everything?
Parenting can be very exhausting and emotionally challenging, but I feel that like the sense of joy and fulfillment that at least I love my mother, and I'm just obsessed with my child and the idea of being a mother, and the sense of fulfillment and joy that I feel being a mother, and what I feel when we're with him, you know, it far outweighs, it's much greater than the sense of limitation or all the sacrifices that you've made and all the adjustments that you've made. So yes, it can be very challenging at times, but I think just maintaining calm and patience and consistency every day and doing it with a lot of love and compassion, just, that helps us through it all.
So you're talking about being in the moment of enjoying parenting right now, but for a lot of people, the scale tends to tip towards the career more than their children. What would you say to that?
I think the idea is to find a fine balance between how to manage work and how to also be at home or like spend time with family. A lot of times, women, when they become mothers, they find it really hard to balance their managed careers, and they also they have a lot of guilt in going to work, you know. But I feel that we shouldn't stop chasing our dreams, you know, because your child is seeing you every day. He should see that my mother is working, just like my dad are, you know. So it's very important to have that balance. So, and I feel that if you parent from, if you don't feel the guilt, you can, it's very easy to balance it if you try and schedule, if you try and prioritize, you know, if you don't bring your work home and just like give equal time to both. It's manageable. It's hard work. I feel like we shouldn't feel guilty to ask for support. In India, we are very, very fortunate that we have a lot of support staff, whether it is friends, family, help at home. So we should use that to our advantage and, yeah, do both.
Absolutely, and that fine balance is what people really have a situation handling. So as a couple, does your physical, mental, and emotional health affect your child, and how?
Oh, absolutely. I think more than anything else, I feel your life condition every day, what you pulsate with, what you're thinking, what your purpose in life is directly how your child is going to grow up, right? So you may not have the privileges, you may not have access to great schools, or, you know, life can be challenging, but I feel what is in your hand is how you choose to wake up and be with that little human every day. And actually, what parenting really does to both of us is wanting to be that person when he's not around as well. I feel you can't curate or manufacture a self which is just right in front of him, because it will show, you know, it will let out. We try to be ourselves, and then there are days, there are probably bad days when Janki pulls me up or I pull her up in private.
But I also feel that it is not just the way the couple's the dynamics that define the emotional well-being of the child, but it is your interaction on a day-to-day basis and everybody's interaction in the house with the child that define his emotional, physical well-being, you know. I feel like a lot of us, all of us, have grown up with so many fears, you know, and so many insecurities, so many anxieties, and I feel everything stems from the way you were brought up, the way you were spoken to as a child, the way your relationship was with your father or your mother, or how you're treated at home, you know. Are you shamed for the small things that you've done on a day-to-day basis, on small things which we don't give too much importance to it. But when it's done on a day-to-day basis, it really affects the personality of the child, you know. How are you as a couple? Is the child seeing a lot of fights in the house? Is the child seeing a lot of love in the house? Is he compared to a lot with his sibling? You know, there's so many small factors that affect the growth and the well-being of a child. And we feel that we are all growing up okay, but somewhere we are not. You know, and these fears and anxieties come out much later in life, when you're 30 years old. You know, when you go to your therapist, when you have aches and pains in your body, and then she tells you this is all childhood trauma. So I think, and that's why I feel parenting is so important in your early days. You know, you're 2 to 7. Of course, it's a lifelong journey, but how you were spoken to, or how your younger days were, really define your personality as you grow up.
Fact, your conditioning.
Yeah, your conditioning, you know, and I feel like our parents were conditioned in a particular way and they passed it on to us. And we are unknowingly passing on a lot of things which may not necessarily be appropriate just because we are conditioned in this way, we are passing it on. So I feel to really break this chain, you know, this generational chain of passing on things is very, very essential right now. And we have so many tools available. We know better, you know, there are so many talks like this that happen.
I think it's
there
really
are
our
books.
responsibility.
Yeah.
You can't push it away. You know, if you've decided to bring a life into this world, it is our responsibility, whatever our circumstances may be.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing this, because a lot of times if we are not aware of our own conditioning, we will, you know, put that pressure on our child. I mean, that will pass on as a legacy to our children, and that's precisely something we want to avoid. Okay, so I think we'll come to this last question. Overcoming challenges makes us smarter and stronger. Do you agree? But as parents, we are always tempted to help our child when they are struggling. How do you make sure that you keep a balance?
I completely agree to it. And, you know, it's really hard. It's really hard not to go and save your child or, you know, help him and to correct him or to, you know, just make sure that he's okay. I think, you know, as a lot of times when parents, or like when kids also come and talk to us, instead of just listening to them, as adults, we have this tendency to, you know, jump into solving their problems or giving an opinion on things or critiquing them or imparting our own wisdom in that little time, thinking that, oh, we are going to teach something, you know. That child is just coming to you to connect and to get your attention and to just, you know, just feel seen. But in that moment, we use that moment to then give him 2 bits of, you know, information or advice or whatever you call it. So I feel like if we can really step back and just be in a state of this engaged presence where we are not like interfering or trying to fix the child, but really just experience what he's experiencing and connect with him emotionally at his level and not to force him to engage with us. Instead, we should engage with him, you know. And it's really hard sometimes not to go and solve. Like Sufi is really into puzzles and into Lego and into Magna-Tiles. He'll be like, Mama, nahi ho raha hai. So I'll have to say, you know, Nakul will be like, okay, I will do it. And I'll be like, I'll hold him back. I'm like, you know, you can try. Hoega,
You'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. So some days are good, some days are not, but it's a process. But I think it really, when we stop doing that, it really helps them build confidence, problem-solving skills, they become resilient, and yeah.
Their self-image grows massively.
Yes, absolutely.
And that's what we want them, because they have a world to face. Right? So thank you so much for sharing your views and wisdom with all of us.
Thank
I would
you.
like to close with this. There is nothing called wrong parenting as long as we understand these 4 things. Children see, children do. So not just as parents, but as a community, we all have a responsibility to be mindful of what we do. Number 2, we have total clarity of what our own values and beliefs are. Number 3, we are open-minded to see different perspectives and try new approaches. And number 4, we encourage our children to make efforts to make mistakes, because resilience and relationship is the best legacy we can leave for our children. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for
Thank you,
having
Anjali.
us.
Thank you so much.